Ding, ding. It is 10 o'clock on the west coast of the United States. How's my hair looking? All right. And it is 0500 GMT. It's MediaWatch Wednesday on cBas After Dark. Give me a second here. If you're just joining me, I'm going to actually fire up Periscope second for a change. Just while I type in the title here. And what is the title, by the way? It is medicine commercials, porno titles. Man, I cannot type where the fuck on these little tablet keyboards. Medicine commercials, porn titles, and AT&T. These are not related. These are just the three things I'm going to be talking about tonight. AT&T. Good. And then I will put a dash, and then I will put cBas After Dark, MediaWatch Wednesday, and I will do this here. Hello, it is 10:01 on the west coast of the U.S. It is 0501 GMT. I'm Sebastian. This is cBas After Dark on Periscope, as well as on good old YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. God, my hair is just on fire tonight, isn't it? I really outdid myself doing my hair. The one thing I have to do is put the phone number. Well, I'll say the phone number. It is 310-776-COONS. That's 310-776-5869. Or you can just go to Twitter and find me at Sebastian Coons. Pardon me while I enjoy a lovely beverage. MediaWatch Wednesday, man. I have all kinds of things to talk about, and not a bit of it is organized. I actually kind of forgot that I was going to work on MediaWatch Wednesday today. I really had a lot of good stuff and then completely forgot. The Leonard Nimoy documentary, I have done stuff on Nerd News. On Monday, actually, this past week, I think, I did the story of the Nimoy Spockumentary, if you will. So that's not really news. However, here's a story about Nimoy's daughter. And I feel like it's pretty touching. We know a lot about Adam Nimoy. I don't think people have heard a lot about Leonard Nimoy's daughter. And by the way, this is not meant to be a monologue. So if you have stuff you want to say, comment on Periscope. Call me, 310-776-5869. Tweet me, text me, anything you want. Let's go to CBS Los Angeles here. Where is the story? The Nimoy interview. It's not going to play, is it? Well, let's just do this. News.google.com, and we'll search for Nimoy's daughter. Let's see. Well, Nimoy's daughter. Here we go. Nimoy's daughter carries on legendary Star Trek final mission. Let's see here. Legendary actor Leonard Nimoy was an icon as Mr. Spock, but to Julie Nimoy, he was just Dad. Nimoy, in her first interview since her dad's death, revealed, and let's see, when was it? Back in May, to CBS 2 in Los Angeles, that Lisa Seigel cherished memories about the father she loved, the memories they shared, and the final mission she's carrying on for him. Everyone knows him in the world as Spock. She shared a home video of him from her first birthday and says her dad put family above all else. He's holding me in his arms. He's very happy, and he's got a huge smile, and you know I'm just a little baby, blah, blah, blah. She says her dad did whatever it took to support the family. He worked in a tropical fish store. I never knew that about Leonard Nimoy. He had vending machines, drove a taxi. And then when she was 11, she got the role on Star Trek. At that point, he was not driving the taxi, she said. Leonard was becoming a star. So he was out of the house at 5 in the morning because he had 2 hours of makeup. Once in a while, the makeup would make its way home. They had to shave half of his eyebrows because his eyebrows went up. So yes, he'd come home and half of his eyebrows would be gone, and his hair was cut very short. When her dad created the famous Vulcan salute, Julie mastered it. Look, Dad, I got it. Nimoy says her dad taught her family to be strong and independent, but also laugh and love. And then she's talking about the thing that killed him, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a lung disease that he got essentially from all of the tobacco smoking that he did. So It wasn't easy. He even tweeted, I quit smoking 30 years ago, not soon enough. So she's kind of going on the mission, talking about COPD, the logical way to improve lung function and breathe better. I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit less sexy, a little bit less Star Trek-y, if you want to say that. Like, I mean, Adam Nimoy is doing a documentary, and he's got a crowdfunding page, and he's going to be producing this, thing that all the Trekkies are going to want to see. This is a lot less sexy. This is a lot less Star Trek related. On the other hand, it's a lot more real life. So I don't know. I feel like this is something worth covering at least as much here as it is worth covering on the Nerd News with Adam Nimoy. So while Adam Nimoy is producing a great documentary, every Trekkie's going to want to see. Julie Nimoy is doing something that, if it's done right, certainly a worthy cause affecting more people worldwide. For the love of God, get over this obsession with tobacco, you tobacco fiends. I mean, I guess I get it if you're addicted to it. I mean, I never had a taste for it whatsoever. And, that's in any form. Like, I really am not into it. And in fact, people who are into it really kind of piss me off. It's like, can't you fucking get over it, you oral fixating nonsense people? Which is not very understanding. It's not. It's kind of an asshole thing I have that I wrestle with. But I feel like, that's a thing that kills way more people than, let's say, marijuana, which I don't have, which I haven't smoked for a long time, but I feel like it's worth talking about. And I feel like it's worth sort of being derogatory of people who do it, because it's not that good, it's not worth it, yeah. And, frankly, if tobacco were illegal in the way marijuana was, I feel like people would still probably be smoking it, but maybe not as many. And certainly it wouldn't be, I don't get how it's acceptable, right? If you tried in a modern way, if it did not ever exist and you tried to introduce it, it would never fly. It would never fly in a moral sense. It would never fly in a, the buzz you get sense, like, and yet it goes back so far that it even influences the names of certain kinds of neurons in the brain, nicotinic receptors, right? They're called that because that's the part of the brain that gets the hit, like a, like a cocaine addict, except you're a nicotine addict, right? Or a caffeine addict. And here's the thing, and the people who do the vaporizing, I think that's probably better, and most people who do it seem to, at least like it. It certainly reeks a lot less. So that deals with one of the big problems I have with tobacco is that, fucking, at least you're not reeking other people, here's the thing. People are like, well, it's everybody's poison, right? Some people like tobacco. Some people like scotch. Some people like cheeseburgers. Not a valid correlation or comparison, because it would be valid if I was eating a cheeseburger and spraying crumbs into the face of everybody next to me, right? And I don't really subscribe to the secondhand smoke thing. I think the secondhand smoke science is mostly sketchy and overblown. But it just from a sheer sort of respecting others nearby standpoint, from a sheer not wanting to be a person who doesn't give a shit, not wanting to be a slob, not wanting, not caring about yourself so much more than the people around you that you are willing to spray cheeseburger crumbs, not just cheeseburger crumbs from the burger, but cheeseburger crumbs from your mouth, right? Picture that. I'm eating a cheeseburger and spraying crumbs in your face. That's fucking disgusting, right? I mean, even if it doesn't affect your health, even if you don't ingest the crumbs and get fat, even if you don't get increased risk of heart disease, even if a million other things, it's still fucking gross. And I that's the basis on which I object to tobacco smoking next to me, is I don't really care about the health effects. I don't think that's true. From a rights standpoint, yes, I suppose there is not a law against it, but you still shouldn't do it. Just because you have the right to do it doesn't make it right, This fan is driving me nuts. I'm going to have to stop this. Hang on a second. If you want to tell me I'm a dick, the number's on the screen. The Twitter account is here. cBasAfterDark is where you can find me. You can do it on tape later. You can do it live right now. The cell phone's here. You will actually be able to talk to me and say I'm a big, huge cocksucker if you want. But I really think I'm on pretty solid ground here. And especially when you ratchet in the body count, right? If you enjoy a cigarette at night off by yourself and you're not near kids and you're not near other people and you're not bothering anybody, I do not care. Game the fuck on. Anything you want. I don't care if you want to go do heroin or, methamphetamine. Well, methamphetamine does bother me. I'll say heroin or cocaine or marijuana. I'm pretty much a freedom person when it comes to putting anything you want in your body at any time for any reason. But that said, you start ratcheting up the body count, start including the numbers of people who are killed from it, people whose lives are affected, from people who they loved that were killed. That starts to make tobacco look like a piece of shit drug. And it's kind of like, I will never understand it. And I will say this. The one thing that bothers me, and I'm a freedom guy, but the one thing that bothers me that tobacco smokers do, nicotine addicts do, is the following. They sort of seem to act like if they stop doing it, they will die. If they stop doing it, it's like depriving them of oxygen or depriving them of water or depriving them of food. That's bullshit. That's a specious argument because that doesn't fly, right? Somebody who I know in the Trekkie chat room said, for those who don't understand, it's like another hunger. It's like you're hungry. And if you don't feed that hunger, that's bullshit. Because if you're hungry, you are missing nutrients. There is something will be bad. Something will happen that is bad if you do not feed an actual hunger, an actual lack of nutrients in your body. If you are thirsty, something bad will happen to you if you do not feed that hunger or the hunger for water. If you don't feed the hunger for nicotine, ain't jack shit going to happen to you. And do not act like there is jack shit going to happen to you, because it's not. I hate that they sort of act as though they will be deprived of water if they can't get a cigarette. It drives me crazy. And I know no other drug, I feel like, do we tolerate that behavior from people. If people are having the shakes from not having alcohol, we don't, want to give them alcohol. We say, maybe you got a fucking alcohol problem, bitch, Mitch Hedberg, the comedian, had a great line about alcoholism. And it's true. It's not necessarily nice, but it is funny. He says, alcoholism is the only disease you can get yelled at for having. God damn it, Otto, you have alcoholism. You're an alcoholic. God damn it, Otto, you have lupus. Nobody says that, right? Nobody says, God damn it, you have chicken pox. But everybody says, God damn it, you're an alcoholic. So yeah, alcoholism is the one disease you can get yelled at for having. I think that's very funny. Okay. Other two topics I wanted to talk about, or actually maybe three. One of them is, two of them are my tried and true favorites. And you're going to love the one coming up at the end, porno titles. I decided that just making a list of these porno titles was not good enough. As much as I enjoy just reading porno titles into the camera because of how funny they are in a straight-faced context, pardon the pun, some of them are so fucking wacky that I have trouble even really believing that that people think they're not true. People think I'm making them up, or people think I'm making some sort of like a joke, like I'm sort of parodying porno titles by saying them. Pardon me. Ooh, brought to you by Belch Beer. Belch Beer, when you want a good beer. No. What I have started doing is just taking a picture of the screen, the guide on the screen that says the porno title, because I think, God damn, these are funny, and they're not even funny. They're just like mind blowing. And the problem is I have multiple devices. So if you're on Periscope, watch me on YouTube and Google Plus, because that is where you will see it. I actually have to use the tablet I use to Periscope to access some of these pictures. So we're going to stop the broadcast on Periscope. Join me over on YouTube. Search for CBAS After Dark, all one word, CBAS After Dark, or just go to youtube.com/Sebastian Central. Or just, I don't know. Find me. Good night on Periscope. Good night, Periscope. We'll see if anything can happen Thursday at 10 p.m. Thursday night, Periscope time. 10 o'clock on the West Coast, 0500 GMT. Good night, Periscope. Ain't nobody watching me on Periscope anyway. I don't know why I bother. Sometimes there are, so that's why I always fire it up. But tonight it was 0 from the get-go, because the title, medicine commercials, porno titles, and AT&T does not make anybody tune in. Let's go to the AT&T stories. There have been a few stories about AT&T, both cable, internet, wireless, phone company. There's a few of them I want to cover, and one of them I had real trouble with this, and it was a couple of weeks ago. It was actually when I was not on the air that I came across this really good article. I think it was in like ProPublica. AT&T, not AT, caret T, AT ampersand T. What is it? Shift 7? Yes. Okay. I have a keyboard that was made in Mexico on my tablet, and the little icons above the numbers do not match up. Oh, 9 hours ago. This is breaking news. Here we go. AT&T and DirecTV, baby. We were glad that Comcast did not get to merge with Time Warner Cable, but now DirecTV and AT&T are going to be one. They have Department of Justice approval or FCC approval. No, they await FCC approval. Justice Department approval has been granted, so maybe it's not going to happen quite yet. Didn't see this in the news though, did I? Until just now. $48.5 billion acquisition of DirecTV. This is something I think we should object to in the same way we object to the Comcast merger with Time Warner Cable. Officials of the Justice Department have closed their investigation without demanding any special conditions. It could have included the sales of certain business units, promises not to interfere with internet traffic. AT&T, which announced plans in 2014 to acquire DirecTV, earlier this week filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission. In the document, AT&T says it expects the merger will be consummated shortly. I think they're going to fuck. The companies still need final approval from the antitrust leadership. That's what I hope they don't get. And it requires FCC approval. The agency is expected to approve the deal as early as next week. So by next week, MediaWatch Wednesday, we're going to see if good old fucking AT&T now is going to have a TV outlet. I guess it's kind of like Comcast having NBC in a way. Not really, though. AT&T is challenging the net neutrality rules in court. That's another fucking bullshit thing they must not be allowed to do. So there's that. Let's see here. Extending coverage on Uverse. This is sort of the related to the article I was trying to find. I may have to go to my notes and find this article about AT&T because it was very long. It was not a short article. It was like an in-depth, really deep article about AT&T. Fiber privacy. Is that the one? AT&T. That is not the one. No. What was it? Where was it? Oh, man, I'm having trouble finding it now. Let me go back to my search and see if I can't let the search continue, because that can't have been the... I remember specifically copying it. Oh, here we go. AT&T Home Internet, right? Yes, okay. Here we go. This is the article I want. Let me just copy the bit.ly link and we can go through it. If the home internet falls short, and they swore to God they were going to get 100% coverage, and I really... This is not a sexy story, okay? I get that. This is not an interesting story, and I was wrong. It was not ProPublica. It was Ars Technica. Kind of more a better place to go for really, really good geeky, in-depth technical news. And the reason this is important is because of the story we just talked about. I will tell you that. The AT&T merger, a lot of these promises that we'll see in this upcoming story hinged on, if we get to buy DirecTV, then, yeah, we'll be able to fulfill our promises that we made many, many years ago, which they should have fulfilled a long time ago and never fucking did. Now, part of me feels bad for these companies, and that's just the bleeding heart of me, right? The bleeding heart part of me that's like, you know, they're doing their best. I'm sure they're really not doing their best. They're maximizing profits. They're doing their best to make as much money as they can. But are they doing their best for their customers? I don't fucking think so. And that's what we're going to see here. We're probably going to spend a good 15 minutes on this. So if this is not sexy enough for you, hey, call me and tell me so, for one thing. 310-776-5867. One more time. 310 is the area code. 776-COONS. That's 776-5869. And I just realized I gave the phone number wrong again. Why do I say? The last digit is 9. KUNZ. 776-5869. I don't know. I guess even I get fucking mixed up. All right. AT&T home coverage falls short. Home internet, years after promising 100% coverage. So here's the map. The green is metro areas available now by AT&T Uverse. Blue is the ones that are planned, and orange is the ones that are being explored. Millions of customers in their territory lack fast service. fiber optic internet, right? Super fast. They're seemingly close to winning. This is from like May, so this is actually not a new article. It's almost 2 months old as of July, maybe a month and a half. But they promised to use the merger's financial benefits of DirecTV to expand home internet service. But the problem was they made promises that they could never fulfill. Nearly a decade ago, AT&T promised 100% broadband coverage throughout its entire territory if it was allowed to buy Bell South. But today, yeah, it offers little or no service to millions in the 22 states where it operates wireline facilities. Now, should they be required to? Not by law, but the thing is they promised they were going to. And I feel like, well, anybody who believes a company's promise, a corporation's promise, is probably destined to be hurt. So that's one side of it. But another side of it, I ain't going to feel sorry for a fucking corporation that's, the profiteering gluttons that they are, if they're not going to bother, meeting their own promises when it comes to what they're going to do. Two opponents petitioned the FCC to delay the buy and investigate AT&T for perjury. The perjury allegation, this article says, might be a stretch, as AT&T argues it did meet the obligation, at least under the definition of broadband it used at the time. But the petition, various statements made by AT&T illustrate how many gaps AT&T really has. And they just kind of shrug their shoulders, right? Teletruth and the New Networks Institute were the petitioners, pointing to the AT&T Bell South merger, which AT&T promised that by December 2007, they would offer broadband internet access service in speeds at least 200 kbps in at least one direction to 100% of the residential units living in the AT&T Bell South in-region territory. And at least 85% of them were going to get access to wireline broadband. The rest would get alternative technology like satellite or WiMAX fixed wireless. We're going to talk about what all these mean coming up. So if some of those terms don't make sense to you, we'll discuss it. The petitioners say AT&T claimed it met the obligation and claimed so falsely. They lied. In February 2008, they say, AT&T filed with the FCC, signing a document under penalty of perjury that they fulfilled this obligation and all other obligations that were part of the merger agreement. But various statements by AT&T make it clear it is not offering broadband throughout that territory today. Subsequent statements by AT&T, including the ones in the DirecTV merger, directly contradict their representation that it complied with the 2007 broadband deployment condition. They were only going to be allowed to buy Bell South if they met these conditions, and they didn't. The facts presented require immediate investigation into AT&T's misrepresentations and perjury and delay of commission action, blah, blah, blah. Justice Department and FCC are nearly done with their reviews of the AT&T DirecTV merger and aren't likely to block what would be the biggest media deal of the past year, says the Wall Street Journal. So yeah, the biggest media deal of the past year, because Comcast and TWC fell through. So now we're seeing this one. Of course, AT&T did not respond to comment or requests for comment. Let's go back to the article. I feel like reading this might actually help you understand it more than watching me read it. Okay. Where am I here? AT&T has addressed the Bell South accusations before, though, arguing in an October 2014 filing that critics are wrong to claim it didn't meet its broadband commitment. Although AT&T doesn't offer broadband throughout the territory under today's definition of broadband, it did under the old 200 kbps standard. The fact that technology continued to advance and the FCC has subsequently changed the definition is irrelevant, says AT&T. AT&T met its commitment and will likewise meet its commitments that it has made in this transaction. The FCC has changed the definition of broadband. So are they changing the goalposts on AT&T? Possibly. The two people who are petitioning contend AT&T never completed its build-outs, even using the older definition, but their arguments mainly point to the current status of AT&T's network and don't include any definitive proof. Rural Mississippi residents said 3 years ago now that AT&T never offered them internet service despite their promise, but the FCC appears to accept the assertion by AT&T that it did meet the requirement. What is clear is that AT&T has failed to keep up with modern technology in large parts of its territory. When making the case for its purchase of DirecTV, AT&T admitted it is not offering broadband to millions let's see here. They proposed $49 billion broadband. Okay, the DirecTV takeover, they say, will bring broadband options to at least 13 million who currently have limited or no access to the service in rural areas. So I have so many mixed feelings about this. This is not just as simple as my initial anger about, AT&T sucks, you know. It's not quite that simple. Part of my bleeding heart goes, well, they're doing the best they can, and I really don't think that they are. They're doing the best they can to be profiteering gluttons. On the other hand, and what did this article say? You know, it's just because they have presence in a place doesn't mean they necessarily have to offer internet. The first world problem argument, right? These are first world problems. These are people who have access to the internet, probably on their phones, probably with dial-up modems, you know, and internet is not like water. It is not like electricity in the sense that it is sort of a life-giving, you know, absolute requirement for existence. Now, the adoption of the net neutrality rule wanted us to think of the internet as a utility. Absolutely required. You can't sort of let people pay more money for faster bandwidth because many people can't afford it, blah, blah, blah. So I have sort of a struggle with the net neutrality understanding. I have trouble with the FCC, you know, sort of, because some people say that the ability, you know, we should be able to pay more and have faster internet if we want to. And, you know, fuck the other people. We have it. You should have worked harder to be able to pay for it too. Kind of like the rich people in California who, despite the drought, say, well, if we could pay for the water, we deserve to use as much fucking water as we want. And fuck you, poor people. Fuck you, California. Fuck you, everybody else. That's not right. You know, for a million reasons. Just because you're rich doesn't mean you have special dispensation in this country. Although it does in some ways, it should not mean it when it comes to things like water access. You should not get to piss away something that other people desperately need, like a farmer or like, you know, an actual, I don't know. Nobody's going dry yet in California, but it's coming. It's around the corner, especially if the drought like this year continues. Let's go back to the article and see if we can't make it a little more palatable. I'm not going to go much past 10:30 with this because I know how boring it is. I think I lost the one viewer I had live talking about this, but I've needed to talk about it for a while. I went on a Comcast tear, and I feel like this is kind of balancing that out. The petition also says AT&T wrote it would not be economically feasible to build a competitive IP wireline network in 25% of their wireline locations. So will AT&T buying DirecTV really bring broadband to millions more? AT&T promises on this front are not nearly as concrete as the 100% commitment it made in 2007. Right? So it made a commitment in 2007 that it did not follow through on. That's what I have a problem with. You know, sorry, I do have to turn the fan on, or the AC in this place just a little bit less than quiet, but I need it. Okay. So, when proposing the merger and AT&T's merger last year, AT&T said the economics of this transaction will allow the combined company, AT&T plus DirecTV, to upgrade to 2 million additional locations to high-speed broadband with gigapower FTTP, fiber to the premise, and expand high-speed broadband footprint to an additional 13 million, where AT&T will be able to offer a pay TV and high-speed broadband bundle. So that's what they want. They want to be able to be Comcast. They want to offer cable TV or something like it and high-speed internet all together. And getting a hold of the DirecTV infrastructure, I guess, essentially, with their satellite dishes, will permit that. I guess they're saying they can get an internet signal over those satellite dishes or something. It was never clear what number those 2 million additional fiber locations were in addition to. AT&T already planned a big fiber expansion while never saying exactly how extensive it would be. The additional 13 million locations would get fixed wireless that runs on top of AT&T's cellular network. So essentially, it's internet that goes over their cell phone network. But since AT&T's cellular network is already nationwide, there's nothing stopping them from offering that today. That's the other thing, right? There's nothing stopping them except for them, you know, maybe wanting to be able to profit more, but maybe they're holding it back because they want to be able to have this merger. Well, we can't do that. We'll only be able to do that if you let us buy DirecTV and raise the price probably on those customers, right? While the FCC and Justice Department refused to approve Comcast's proposed acquisition of Time Warner Cable, they could let AT&T buy DirecTV if they believe the deal benefits consumers. I don't believe it will. What specific promises AT&T is willing to make could end up playing a key role. Where's page 2 here? Oh, I thought there was much more to this story than that. So I went through that really fast. I don't know. It's a really good story that's really worth paying attention to if you're interested in media matters, because holy fucking shit, man. Think about it, if there's only one company. If AT&T and Time Warner merge, or if Comcast and Time Warner merge and AT&T and DirecTV merge. Woo! Wrong pipe. Brought to you by Suffocation Beer. Wow. That was something else. That is the best drink of Mountain Dew I've ever taken. So, okay, AT&T gobbles up DirecTV. Time Warner gobbles up Comcast, or vice versa, right? And now Time Warner Comcast gobble up AT&T DirecTV. What do you call Direct AT&TV? I don't know. So now you have Comdirect AT&T v Time Warner, whatever. One big fucking company that you own, that owns everything, controls everything coming into your house, whether it's internet, whether it's television, whether it's telephone, whether it's wireless, right? AT&T has wireless phones as well. And that's part of the problem, I feel like, is they have the ability, even if they can't, you know, there's people in way rural Mississippi or way rural Alabama, or these really, really states where it's very far. They have a farm or a ranch, something way the fuck out there. And anyway, sorry, somebody just messaged me on the Facebook. But I mean, I just really think that I don't like it when companies merge. I don't think it benefits the consumer. I think it only benefits the company. It's like airline mergers. I'm never for any of those, even though they all seem to sail through with a song. And the reason I don't support them is because what's the story today? Let's divert briefly from the MediaWatch and talk about this as sort of an extension of the MediaWatch because of the what was the story on NBC News tonight? NBC Airlines. Let's just see. Is that going to come up under news? Yeah, here we go. Perfect. DOJ, the Department of Justice, is looking into airline collusion to keep fares high. This is what I'm worried about happening in the cable, internet, and wireless phone realm. The Justice Department investigating possible collusion among major airlines to limit available seats that keep airfares high. How do they do it? Because it's not how you think. They're illegally coordinating with one another to limit their capacity. That has the effect of keeping fares up to the detriment of passengers. So they're doing this civil investigative demands thing. And they say they'll cooperate fully. Here we go. Investigative sources say they've used it. They're looking at how often airline executives have publicly used the word discipline. Why? You don't think that's a bad word, do you? Chief executives of airlines and analysts are often heard talking about capacity discipline, which the fare watchers say is basically saying don't grow your airline, don't add seats, get rid of routes where you don't have flights that are completely full. And so Airlines for America, a trade group, says their members are competitive and they're confident the Justice Department will find what we know to be true, blah, blah, blah. They compete vigorously every day and the benefit is to the public. But they're looking at it. Possible unlawful coordination among some airlines. We don't know which airlines. But let's look at this. The airlines, let's see here. Thanks to a series of mergers, here we go, mergers, right? Just what I was talking about, which began in 2008. American, Delta, Southwest, and United control more than 80% of the seats. It's not just the planes or the routes, it's the actual seats, because that's what we pay for. During that period, they have eliminated unprofitable flights, filled a higher percentage of seats on their airplanes and made a very public effort to slow growth in order to command higher airfares. All right? Think about that. They're purposely not expanding to keep the price high. Because the more full they are, the more competition there is for a seat. And it worked. The average domestic airfare rose 13% from 2009 to 2014 when adjusted for inflation, according to the Bureau of Transportation Statistics. That doesn't even include the billions collecting from new fees that airlines do. $25 each way to check a bag. $200 to change a reservation domestically. $3.6 billion in bag fees. $3 billion more in reservation change fees. Above and beyond the amount that we pay for the tickets themselves, which may itself be kept artificially high. All of that has led to record profits for the industry. In the past 2 years, U.S. airlines earned almost $20 billion. This year could lead to even higher profits thanks to a massive drop in the price for jet fuel, which is the single highest expense airlines have. In April, U.S. airlines paid $1.94 a gallon, down 34%. From a year ago. So the gas is getting cheaper. They're not expanding. Look at those profits, $19.7 billion. Do you know any airlines that are expanding? Cheap fuel has led airlines to make money-losing decisions. They would rapidly expand in the past, launching new routes, setting unrealistically low airfares to lure passengers. Airlines that already flew those routes would match the fares, and all carriers would lose money. Those price wars now are long gone. But the market is scared because of the low fuel costs. That has happened before. Airline stocks plunged in May after the Southwest CFO said that they would increase passenger capacity by 7 to 8%, which is more than they earlier suggested they would. Investors, in a note afterward, were told that big airlines are unhappy to be restraining growth, while low-cost airlines like Spirit grow at a much faster pace. They urged the major airlines in a note to investors to step up and cut routes for the good of the industry. Cut routes for the good of the industry. This is a Mexican standoff. 4 airlines with guns pointed at each other. Each is afraid to suddenly cut profitable routes because they fear another will backfill that route. So this is suggesting they're scared to cut profitable routes, but really are they? The airline is capping growth at 7%, according to the Southwest CEO. That sparked a rally in airline stocks. Investors were more reassured that capacity growth would be limited. I don't know. So I think that's sort of a clue, right? Now, part of me hears the stories about, oh, the poor airlines. Nobody likes what they do. The airlines, the poor airlines with their, shitty service and with their uncomfortable seats and with the misery of security and, giving us less and less. You don't even get any food on the airline anymore. You got to bring your own goddamn food, which is fine with me. I don't mind bringing my own goddamn food, as long as somebody next to me isn't eating a goddamn fish sandwich that was microwaved and stinking up the place. You've got to try and be courteous to people around you. Fucking A. Anyway. So I feel like when this deregulation thing that all the Republicans are big on, less government, well, less regulation, less restraint on growth. Well, what that results in is stuff like the banks becoming too big to fail. Those rich fucking companies absolutely need to be restrained because the instinct to be a profiteering glutton will drive them to do unacceptable things in a very serious way. cBaS After Dark. MediaWatch Wednesday. I haven't done this in a while. It's really feeling good to do it. I was teaching a class and I got done and I got into watching like reruns of stuff and I was thinking, maybe fuck MediaWatch Wednesday. But I've said fuck MediaWatch Wednesday for like a month now. So I really wanted to get back in and do a full week of shows. All four nights, tonight and tomorrow as well. Tomorrow's Anything Can Happen Thursday. Maybe I'll do it a little earlier. So in case you happen to be paying attention, try to follow me on Twitter or Facebook or Google Plus or YouTube, and hopefully you'll be able to see when I go on the air. Or if you follow me on the good old Periscope, that'll be good too. All right. I have a couple more talking about, because the medicine commercials are insane. Okay? They just are insane. And they're insane in a good way that makes me love them. So we're going to see a couple more that I feel like are truly grand. Let's see here. Where's my weird medicine commercials file? Because it's so good. Medicine. Weird medicine commercials. All right. Bravecto, and there's a new laxative commercial. Stellara, Prolia. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's do a Stellara commercial first. Because there's always something interesting to see. And I want the long one. I don't want just the short version. Oh, wait, not images, videos. Is it just a minute, really? I thought it was a minute and a half. I thought it was longer. All right, well, here we go. Let's try it here. Stellara commercial. This one says it's 2 minutes. All right, let's, no, that's not the right one. That's not the right one. Hold on. The one I like is the one where she goes to 4 different sets representing 4 different times. Maybe it is just 60 seconds. Let me switch over to it here.
I'm Carrie D. I've had moderate to severe psoriasis most of my life.
Hang on. So this is a commercial for, stop,
it helps keep
psoriasis medication, okay? Stellara. Now, what we're looking at is everything in the commercial, from the way it's filmed to the actresses in it to the side effect warnings. That's my favorite thing about them, because the side effect warnings are often hilarious. Let me switch over to it here if I can. Screen share. Stellara commercial. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Okay. Carrie D. English, professional model, blah, blah, blah. Take it away.
I'm Carrie D. I've had moderate to severe psoriasis most of my life, but that hasn't stopped me from modeling. My doctor told me.
So here she is in fall, right?
Helps keep my skin clear.
Apple.
With only 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses, Stellara helps me be in season.
Stellara may lower your ability to fight infections and increase your risk of infection.
Winter.
Some serious infections require hospitalization. Before starting Stellara, your doctor should test for tuberculosis. Stellara may increase your risk of cancer. Always tell your doctor if you have any sign of infection, have had cancer, or if you develop any new skin growths. Do not take Stellara if you are allergic to Stellara or any of its ingredients. Alert your doctor of new or worsening problems, including headaches, seizures, confusion, and vision problems. These may be signs of a rare, potentially fatal brain condition. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you or anyone in your house needs or has recently
spring and then summer.
In a medical study, most Stellara patients saw at least 75% clearer skin, and the majority were rated as clear or minimal at 12 weeks. Stellara helps keep my skin clearer. Ask your doctor about Stellara.
Okay, so we're going to watch it again. One of the things I like about this commercial, and I'll start with what I like, is the shifting from scene to scene, because there are 4 seasons, obviously, and there are 4 seasons in the commercial, and they are fall, winter, spring, and summer in that order. First one is fall, so she's got an apple in a red dress, and she's posing with the apple, you know. But then the way that then she kind of suddenly is in a different outfit, and she's walking to the winter set, and the way they do it is a person crosses in front of the camera. If you watch the outfit changes, I think it's worth looking at this. Did I put my name on here twice? God damn it. I'm just going to get rid of those. Back to this, though. Okay, so she's in the fall outfit with her red dress. Now, when a person crosses in front of the camera, suddenly she'll be in front of, like, in a white outfit for winter. And I love that the other actors in here, like, this is not a real guy with a real reflector trying to help her take a real picture, right? This is a guy playing an extra role. He is playing the role of on-screen reflector holder for a photo shoot that's not a real fucking photo shoot. Like, I just love the meta-ness, sort of, I think that's the word, right? The meta-ness of it.
Skin clearer with only 4 doses a year after 2 starter
There's the person crossing. Now she's in a white outfit, walking onto the winter set. Okay, so Stellara may lower your ability to fight infections. Let's try and get in the side effect warnings here as well.
Increase your risk of infections.
May increase your risk of infections.
Some serious infections require hospitalization.
Some serious infections require hospitalization. Okay, white set with a white coat and white outfit.
Before starting Stellara, your doctor should test for tuberculosis.
Okay, before starting it, your doctor should test for tuberculosis. And again, the reflector holder is over there on the right. Great.
Stellara may increase your risk of cancer.
Stellara may increase your risk of cancer. If you have a skin condition, you take this medicine that may increase your risk of cancer.
Always tell your doctor if you have any sign of infection.
Okay, tell your doctor if you have any sign of infection. I actually happen to pause it right when the person's crossing. I bet when he crosses out of the shot, She is no longer in the white outfit with the white furry coat.
Had cancer, or if you...
Oh, look at that. She is in a pink outfit now that looks very springtimey. Although she looks like she's just stepping out of the shot that she was just taking. It's very well filmed, you know.
Develop any new skin growths. Do not take...
Okay, what was that about skin growths? Hold on.
Or if you develop any new skin growths.
Tell your doctor if you develop any new skin growths.
Do not take Stelara if you are allergic to Stelara.
And that's the one I love the most. Okay, we're going to go back to me for a second. Do not take Stelara if you are allergic to Stelara. This one came up in my family. We were all having dinner a couple of nights ago, and somebody finally flashed on that statement. I've been aware of it for some time, waiting to bring it to you here. So he's like, did they just say do not take Stelara if you are allergic to Stelara? And I'm like, yeah. What they used to say, because that's like a required thing they have to say, I'm pretty sure, right? What the statement used to be took longer to say. What it was do not take Stelara if you are allergic to any of the ingredients in Stelara. Which, again, even that is kind of a no-shit Sherlock situation. But now they've actually shortened it because of how long that takes to say. And they want to be able to get as many of the things in as possible. It's only a 60-second ad. You've got to be able to say, do not take Stelara if you are allergic to Stelara. No fucking shit, Sherlock. Like, goddamn. I really find that statement bizarrely hilarious and obvious. Okay, let's go on here.
Or any of its ingredients. Alert your
doctor. Oh, there it was. There was the other part of it. Do not take it if you're allergic to it or any of its ingredients.
Doctor of new or worsening problems, including headaches, seizures, confusion, and vision problems.
Headaches, confusion, vision problems, seizures.
These may be signs of a rare, potentially fatal brain condition. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you or anyone in your house needs or has recently received a vaccine.
In a medical study, most of...
And what's that one? Tell your doctor if you or anyone in your house has recently received a vaccine.
Potentially fatal brain condition. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you or anyone in your house needs or has recently received a vaccine.
If you or anyone in your house needs or has recently received a vaccine. That's fascinating. This is the last one where she starts walking in the old outfit, and then because of this little yellow and white thingy.
In a medical study, most Stelara patients saw at least 75% clearer skin, and the majority were rated as cleared or minimal at 12 weeks. Stelara helps keep my skin clearer. Ask your doctor about Stelara.
Right. Well, there's the Stelara ad for you. Again, I mean, the enormity of these ads is not small, so I feel like to talk about them is usually pretty funny. cBas After Dark, MediaWatch Wednesday. Let's do another one here. Bravecto. I wrote down Bravecto, and I don't even remember. Let's just Google it here. Bravecto. Commercial. Oops, not cost. Bravecto. Dogimonial. Okay, is this the dog ad? The ad with the dog? I guess it is. All right, let's switch over to it and watch it. This may just be fun to watch for the dogs, although, again, I think we have to listen for the side effects as well. Let's see here. What do we got? I guess these are the same.
That used to be me. Scratching, chewing, licking, shaking. It was horrible. I avoided being around others, including my friends. I didn't think my flea and tick problems would ever get better. But then, I talked to my owners about talking to my vet about Bravecto.
Only Bravecto gives dogs up to 12 weeks of flea and tick protection. No other tasty chew works better for longer.
Okay, interesting. So it's a tasty chew, not a pill. It kills fleas, prevents flea infestations, and kills ticks of these variety for 12 weeks. It also kills Lone Star ticks for 8 weeks.
Over the course of a year, that's a lot fewer doses and a lot less worry. Bravecto is for dogs 6 months of age or older. Side effects may include vomiting, decreased appetite, diarrhea, lethargy, excessive thirst, and flatulence.
All right, there it was. That's why I wrote it down. I'm trying to remember. This is cute, but I normally don't just write down an ad that's cute. Listen to the side effects here.
That's a lot fewer doses and a lot less worry. Bravecto is for dogs 6 months of age or older.
Okay.
Side effects may include vomiting, decreased appetite, diarrhea, lethargy, excessive thirst, and flatulence.
Diarrhea, lethargy, excessive thirst, and flatulence. Your doggy may fart more than he used to.
I'm Jack, and I tell all my friends to tell their owners to talk to the vet about Provecto. Provecto, keeping me, Jack, and my friends protected from fleas and ticks ever since.
All right, well, that's cute, and I do like that it's cute. I mean, I don't really object to these ads on the basis of these, but I think it's just worth really dissecting them and paying attention to them and stuff like that. I think it's really funny. I have more. We'll save them for another episode because I want to bring to you the porno titles as promised. Now, I didn't transfer the pictures onto this device so I can show them full screen. I'm just going to have to kind of hold them up, and that's not going to be very satisfying. So do tune in to next Wednesday's MediaWatch. You'll see all of them. Where's my gallery here? Because sometimes I try not to let anybody see me taking a picture of the screen, but at the same time, I really want to get these recorded, and I don't just want to write them down anymore because it's like, that's so funny. And now, of course, I can't find any of them. Maybe I downloaded all the pictures to another device. Oh, no. Well, I know I have some on this device that I have not downloaded, so hold on just a moment. This is the best damn rehearsal I have ever had. All right, not on that one. Maybe on this one, on my old iPhone, huh? Let's see here. Photos. Let's look at the photos. Okay. Cable screen. Here's two of them. And again, if you look at them, hopefully the brightness will go down a little bit and we'll be able to see. Maybe not. Oh, God. All right. Well, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'll just have to you'll have to trust me. That's what they say. 10 monster shafts. Drunk on Latina Pink. Not drunk on Latina Pink alcohol or something like that. Just drunk on Latina Pink. Here's a good one. Bent over and slammed deep! Exclamation point. But it doesn't stop there. That title goes on because it's called Bent Over and Slammed Deep! Exclamation point 1. You cannot put a 1. I mean, even if you intend to make 10 more, putting 1 on it is not done. Can you see it? Bent over and slammed deep 1. You can't do that. It's just bent over and slammed deep the motion picture, or bent over and slammed deep the original, or just plain bent over and slammed deep. But you can't call it bent over and slammed deep 1. I really object to that. Lesbian finger stickin' is all it shows on the screen here. And then here's another one that's really good. These are very funny. 101 award-winning lesbians. I don't know what they did to win the award. And then the one above that is, hey, girl, bang me, please. So, like, that's really funny, isn't it? Like, hey, girl, bang me, please. Followed by drunk on Latina Pink, 10 monster shafts, bent over and slammed deep 1, and lesbian finger stickin'. Just the titles alone, I just adore them. Sort of in the same way, and I've said this before when I do this segment, one of the other things I just adore, and I wanted to make this a radio segment, nobody else thought it was funny but me, so maybe I'm alone. The bit was that just reading the subject lines of ads on Craigslist, the sex ads on Craigslist, the men on men, right, the gay sex ads on Craigslist, just the subject lines, reading them sort of out of context in a journalistic kind of a voice, wildly hilarious, like really fucking funny, and you know, worth some comedy. I feel like it's really, really funny. Anyway, let me find a few more of these. Yes, here are some more. Okay, hopefully we'll be able to see them here. I love these. God, I love these. All right. 1 hole, 4 hard poles plowed. Please bang my wife 8. That's the one that's highlighted that you maybe can't see because it's so bright. The yellow in the very center there. If the brightness just would go down a little bit, you could see. I guess, of course, it's not going to. Please bang my wife 8. I bet please bang my wife 1 through 7 were just golden. Tales from the glory hole. All right. Hot 99-pound wife gaggers. Secret Office Lesbians, 2, Electric Boogaloo. I added the Electric Boogaloo. Cute Caliente Latina Cuties, 1. Ghetto Booty Amateurs. Hard orgy punishment. That sounds rough, doesn't it? Foot-long monster, ... I assume there was more to that. Sometimes there's a limit to the number of characters you can actually read on the on-screen guide. Face blasted cream fiends 4. God, that's almost poetry, isn't it? Face blasted cream fiends 4. I just cannot get enough of it. I think there's more here. Yes. My wife wants your wang 8. Oil overload 8. There's a lot of number 8s lately. Lost in her butt 6. Double D busty beauty buffet. You gotta love the alliteration there. It's almost art. 15 extra hairy bush. It almost sounds like an address, doesn't it? Where do you live? Oh, I'm on 15 extra hairy bush lane. Mandingo ruins teens. Anytime ruins is in the title, I feel like that's something. Unload on my face 6. Okay, so we have Lost in her butt 6, which is on actually at the same time as it's programmed opposite. Lost in her butt 6 and Unload on my face 6. You can't see them at the same time unless you like TiVo one of them. Meanwhile, for that matter, Oil Overload 8 and My Wife Wants Your Wang 8 are on at the same time as well. And the last one I will leave you with, 10 filthy rim jobs, exclamation point. So I wish that one would get to like 9 or 10 sequels, because then it would be 10 filthy rim jobs 10. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, I almost feel dirty bringing that segment to you, but it is worth it, because after all the vegetable eating, after all the, sort of important stuff that we do, talking about AT&T and mergers and Comcast and blah, blah, blah. Medicine commercials is fun, but porn titles is just the cream of the cake. Okay. A little early. It's okay to end a little early. We've been here for an hour now. You're watching cBaS After Dark. Tomorrow is Anything Can Happen Thursday. We call it that for a reason. I don't even really know what to tease, but it's anything I can't squeeze into. Media Watch, Game Show Tuesday, Nerd News Monday, or the Fast Food Junk Food Podcast, which, by the way, in case you're watching, Fast Food Junk Food Podcast, 2-hour extravaganza this Saturday. Me and my partner Sarah will be talking about all kinds of extra stuff, because we haven't done that show for a while either. For now, I'm Sebastian, wishing you good luck and good night from the desert. We will see you next time on cBaS After Dark. Good night.